My name is David Richardson. I'm an associate professor in the biology department here at SUNY New Paltz. I'm an aquatic ecologist because I love being outside. So I'm passionate about this study and understanding aquatic ecosystems for a number of reasons. The study I'm doing at the preserve is looking at changes in water temperature over time. We're using the sky lakes, and that's a name for the lakes that are up on the Mohonk Bridge, as a way to understand what's happening in the climate. And they're pretty good sentinels of climate change and of changes in those different areas. And I also really understand the importance of lakes. There are a number of different communities that receive drinking water supply from lakes. And so there's a whole bunch of reasons for why we should care about these lakes. Data has been collected at Mohonk Preserve for a really long time. The nephew of the original owners of the mountain house, Dan Smiley, he started collecting data in Mohonk Lake, which sits right out in front of the hotel. And since the 1970s, late 1970s, they've been collecting water temperature on a daily basis. They've been collecting the temperature at different depths within the water column, and it's a pretty solid record. It is one of the better records really in the world of lake temperature going back that far with regularity of who's collecting it.
My name is David Sides, and I do water sampling and climate testing for the Mohonk Preserve. The process that we follow, it's very manual, intentionally. We come into the research center and gather our paperwork and our bottles, sample bottles, and we head over to the lake. We take samples at 3 different levels: at the surface, at 20 feet, and at 40 feet. We take the temperature. We record everything on these paper slips. I know they enter them somewhere, but those sheets are actually here from all the history, handwritten by all of the samplers. I've been a member at the Mohonk Preserve for 35 years, but I've always had an interest in the environment. I'm an outdoors person, so to me it's important that our water is safe. So I feel good to be a part of not just the preserve, but what the mountain house is doing as well to protect the environment. I feel that if we all do our part to help out, we check out the weather and the climate and the water, we should be okay going forward.
So what I did was I took the long-term record of data and I started looking at some of the trends over time. So I looked at the surface water temperature, so the temperature right at the top of the lake, and looked at how that was changing. And that's actually going up by about ½ degree Celsius per decade over time. So it's a pretty rapid increase. And it's actually even faster than the air temperature is warming in this area. The bottom of the lake is actually getting cooler over time, so it's cooling by about ½ degree Celsius per decade, and that heat is getting trapped at the top, and the bottom is actually cooling off over time. In the fall, when things cool off, the top of the lake gets a little cooler, and that cool water sinks down, and that mixes up the entire lake, and it becomes one temperature throughout the entire lake. And so the time period of which the lake is stratified is getting longer, and the strength of stratification is getting higher. So really what's happening is you have things like fish. As the temperature is getting warmer, you're getting more of these warm water fish, and the cool water fish are having a harder time surviving. So it has real implications for the biology or the ecology of the organisms that live there. I feel a real strong tie to this area and to these lakes, Mohonk Preserve, Minnewaska, and I think it's really amazing that I have a chance as a professional to come back here and as a scientist to study these lakes. This type of study allows us to put Mohonk in a real global context, so we can actually see where Mohonk fits into the bigger picture of lakes around the world and what's happening with climate change around the world. And what's happening is there are certain regions that are acting very similar to Mohonk in terms of getting warmer. And so we really have to think about what's happening as well as what's going to happen into the future and address the changing climate. And we're going to have to adapt to things. Things are going to change in the way that we see lakes and we see ecosystems. And so I think it's really, really important to do these types of studies where we can understand some of the changes that are happening in the world around us.